Hello everyone, welcome into the Chargers Hoops TV studio for another edition of Chargers Hoops TV. Ronnie, an interesting weekend on the basketball front, the men's team securing a final spot, and by the sounds of it, you had a pretty successful weekend in basketball as well.
Just locally, JB, just picking up 4 wins in 4 games of coaching juniors, but that's not what this is all about. It's about the Chargers clinching that final spot, and how excited are we, JB, that they're going to be involved in the College Express NBL1 Final Series coming up.
It's going to be a huge couple of weeks and it's going to be a huge final series. This is Chargers Hoops TV.
Round 14 of the College Express NBL1 South continued on Friday night, and Waverley were in town, JB, and of course the women were up first. And what'd you make of the women's game?
It was a very sporadic game by the women's team to start the evening, to be honest with you, Ronnie. They were struggling to build momentum, shots were struggling to drop. They started to hit a couple of perimeter shots here or there, and they started to look like they were building tiny little steps of momentum, but unfortunately weren't able to capitalise on it, and specifically for Waverley, they were really able to hurt Hobart in their spurts there. Just moments there where Hobart would build 60 to 90 seconds of really good play, looked like they were starting to peg things back, then all of a sudden a turnover, a foul, a second chance opportunity would just be given up, and Waverley would really take the opportunity to capitalise on that. The third quarter was really Waverley's game as they really blew this one out, managed to get out to that 20-point margin at 3/4 time, and Hobart made a bit of a rally though, there's no doubt about it. They tried to peg it back towards that 13, 14, 15-point margin, but again, just a couple of little lapses, turnover here, foul there, rebound, second chance opportunity, rebound here, and all of a sudden Waverley, they were back in control and ran away with the game in this one. Final score 73 to 57. Paige Bradley playing well, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and huge minutes, Ronnie. One of the first times that we'd seen Paige actually go to the bench in this game. She's had some huge enduro minutes this season. She's a real credit to fitness across the league. She's one of the premier guards as far as fitness and endurance is concerned. And Kylie McCauley with 11 points, 12 rebounds.
And after the game, we caught up with head coach Dwayne Davey.
Let's hear what he had to say.
It's been a bit of a hallmark, I guess, of our second half of the season, is that the effort is there now, and it's there for 4 quarters, which is something that we're really proud of. But tonight we just couldn't put the damn ball in the hole, to be honest. Everything else was there pretty much statistically in terms of the way that we wanted to play, but we shot the ball at 30% or something like that, so it makes it really hard to win when you do that. Paige in particular has had a huge workload, particularly the last few weeks. Being our main ball carrier and probably the only one really that can do that consistently, she's had to play a lot of minutes, and she's always got a full court defender on her. So she's doing a fantastic job with the workload that she's had to work with. And obviously that makes you prone to some mistakes. So we expect that, but the biggest issue tonight was we just couldn't quite find something that worked for us offensively to get a bit of rhythm. We were creating plenty of shots. I think we had maybe 4 less shots than them for the game, which is another statistic that we sort of keep an eye on. But we just couldn't make enough of them tonight. Like us at the bottom of the ladder, or the bottom half of the ladder, it's easy to come into these last 2 or 3 games, be a bit lackadaisical and let it sort of drift away. So we've made a pact with ourselves that we don't want to do that. We want to use these last couple of games as a springboard into next season, and to show our fans and the club and our sponsors that we have turned a corner at the halfway point, and give them a bit of a taste of what might come in the next couple of years.
And also after the game, we caught up with Chargers import Paige Bradley.
Paige has been a spark of life in this squad through season 2022. Let's see what she had to say after the loss.
I think we're pretty consistent in that, is that we'll never give up. It didn't really go our way, but we'll never give up as a team, and I think that's what we're trying to stand by. I think we've grown in that aspect. From week to week, I think we're seeing improvements. That's what matters, and I think that's what this season was about, kind of a regroup, a regather, get back to some culture that they're trying to instill, and I'm happy to be involved in that, and I think it's grown each week. Yes, my mom and dad flew all the way out here. It was such a treat to have them. It's always nice to see them in the stands, watching me throughout my career, and I was really lucky that they were able to come over. I'm confident we'll get one more in there, hopefully two, so we'll be strong for the rest of the season, hopefully.
Whatever part of your home you want to improve, Clennett's Mitre 10 has everything you need to get the job done. A wide selection of indoor and outdoor plants and pots, paint for every style and every project, complete DIY kitchens and bathrooms, and all the tools you need for the job. The local Clennett's team know their huge range inside and out, so you'll get the right advice and the right product every time. Clennett's, mighty helpful Mitre 10.
And of course, following the women's game, Ronnie, the action-packed men's game. Plenty on the line for both sides here. Hobart really wanting to try and secure themselves at the top of the ladder. For Waverley, really fighting, really battling, potentially dropping out of the top 8. Massive contest. How'd it pan out?
Well, as you mentioned, JB, Waverley fighting for their playoff lives. Meanwhile, Hobart trying to consolidate top 2 spot, and a win would have made that the case. Obviously, the win did happen. Now, let's talk about the game as far as we're concerned. So, first couple quarters were really scrappy, and Waverley got the lead and were up and about. Really shocked, I think, the Hobart fans. Hobart fans were pretty silent. The Hobart players weren't really sure how to really combat that, but some timeouts from Anthony Stewart, some adjustments. Mind you though, the big story out of the first half was that Harry Froling got opened up, JB. A bit of blood on the court and a bit of blood in front of our commentary box as well too. But give him a quarter and a bit of a break, and he was back in the game for your McKay Timber Hobart Chargers. And all of a sudden in the second half, that game just swung around back to Hobart's favour. Benny Lewis got ejected from the game, which was huge for Waverley. Got a technical for a flop in the first quarter, and then a taunting technical, which saw 2 tees, you're out of the game. And that really changed the game, and then really Waverley didn't have much to answer back. Hobart were able to make a huge run in that second half, JB, and able to get the win in this one, 93-66, and they have pretty much consolidated a top 2 spot now in the South Conference.
A huge game for your McKay Timber Hobart Chargers. We caught up with Anthony Stewart post-game.
Let's go down to the interview right now.
Yeah, it was. I mean, people don't understand. I was talking to Roth before the game, and he said, you're pretty loaded now. It's a championship team. And I said, yeah, but we haven't actually trained together once. And Sammy Mack was awesome for a guy that hasn't played with us for a few weeks, and it was always going to take a little bit of time. Everyone's got different roles now within the group, and to win a championship, that's what we're after. And next week will be the benchmark. So Sandringham and us, it'll be an unbelievable game. Jacob in particular, last month and a half has just been exceptional. We played Geelong Bendigo on the road last weekend, and he dislocated his little finger. It was sideways. So he's pretty banged up and bruised, but he came out like you wouldn't even know he had that problem. So he's come a long way. He started the season with some cartilage damage, had an operation, sort of held him back for the first 6-8 weeks, but the fruits are shining there right now for him as well, and credit to him, and hopefully he picks up that spot with the Jack Jumpers as a development player. Again, now we've secured a top 4 spot. We can't go any lower than 4th, and the plan was always to finish top 2 and try and get 2 home finals. So we need one more win out of those last 2, and Sandringham are probably the championship favourites with the team they put on the court, being all the Melbourne United guys, and then Northwest Thunder may need to win that last game to make playoffs. So it could be them trying to make playoffs and us trying to finish top 2. It's a great end of the season. Well, it's a lot of trust in those young guys. I mean, I think we were 13 up with 3 minutes to play. They come down, hit a couple of threes, it's back to 7. So they have to stay focused. It puts them under a little bit of pressure as well, and I obviously get nervous, but I've got to build that trust with those younger guys if they're going to develop and get to that next level.
And of course, coming off the back of a massive month of basketball, we also caught up with young Chargers superstar, Jacob Richards.
He's certainly been on fire over the last month, as you mentioned, JB. Let's go to that interview right now.
I've just been trying to help the team. We're up for top spot now. We got to get it. Yeah, it's been something I've tried to improve on this year. My rebounding stats last year weren't great. This year it's been a real focus for me. I've been feeling it lately, just getting my shots up outside of games. They take a lot of the focus on that to them, and then I just have to spot up, make my shots when they come to me. In the off season, it's just been a real, so I shot poorly last year again, and it's been a real focus area for me. I just got to come in, play hard as much as I can, and then my minutes will slowly get more. We're going for 2, we want the top spot, we want 2 home finals. Simple as that.
At Wilson Homes, we've been building the Australian dream for over 30 years. And today, this purpose is more important to us than ever before. That's why we're going to keep building the homes that define our way of life. So don't lose sight of your dream, because we're going to keep building for you.
And of course, back here in the Chargers Hoops TV studio, none of it would be possible throughout season 2022 without our great sponsors, McKay's Timber, Gap, the Greyhound Adoption Program, and Ronnie, your favourite app, everyone's favourite app, the What's On app.
Absolutely, JB. I have the What's On app here with me now. And just scrolling through now, make sure you check out their videos, but also too, there's a few events coming up. Now, on November the 4th, the Veronicas are in town. One of my favourite bands as I was growing up, JB. I can't wait to see. I'm going to go book my ticket right now, actually.
I have seen Ronnie's album collection, you won't believe it. So check out the What's On app.
Made by nature, created by innovators, supplied by McKay's, your home of Tasmanian timber.
Another episode in the books for Chargers Hoops TV. Ronnie, looking forward to another massive home game this weekend going up against the Sandringham Sabres. Obviously for your Chargers men, they're really wanting to push and say, right, we've finally hit top form, look out, we're a genuine championship contender. For the women, again, fighting and still playing for that respect there. They're still in a vein of form and they're showing some consistency, but the Sabres, a lot to fight for in both competitions. The men wanting to solidify top 4, potentially top 2. Meanwhile, in the women, you know, that real balancing act at the very bottom of the top 8 there, they're fighting for a playoff chance as well. It's going to be another huge week of hoops.
Absolutely, JB. Get along to the Kingborough Sports Centre on Friday night to watch the McKay Timber Hobart Chargers, but make some noise and support them as well too. For both the women's and men's, JB, you've described everything that I was probably going to say anyway, so yeah, get down to the Sports Centre on Friday night. It's going to be huge, but if you can't make it, make sure you tune in to myself and JB on the live stream on Friday night by the NBL1 website or the NBL1 app as round 15 of the Coles Express NBL1 South season rolls into town.
That'll do it for another episode of Chargers Hoops TV, and we'll see you next week.